Arsenal are fully back in the UEFA Champions League and begin fly high again, with that evident in their 2-1 away victory against top La Liga side Sevilla, who were Arsenal key players. Latest injury report and Arsenal other news today.
What's up, guys? It's your boy again, Gabriel 7, and it's the Arsenal Roundup. Welcome back to your best channel. We have a lot of scintillating Arsenal to show to today. Let's get right into today's video. Alright, it was very nice since again as Arsenal were looking to bounce back from our defeat. Don't forget, in our last Champions League encounter against Lens, Arsenal Lens of France, and now we were able to defeat Sevilla by 2-1, and courtesy of Gabriel Martinelli and Gabriel Jesus goal. And of course, it's beautiful things you want to see as Arsenal fans. So the game ended 2-1 as we were able to go back to the top of the log in terms of our Champions League group table. But what were the things we noticed in that game? What were the things we were able to take away, or what were the things we were able to learn in that particular game? As Arsenal are looking to improve the Champions League form, and that was the first time Arsenal won from away game since the time of the likes of Perez of Arsenal. Don't forget, our striker was signed from Spain, and also that was 2016. That was the last time Arsenal won an away Champions League match, and the likes of Lucas Perez, Gabriel, and the likes were featured in that particular game. And it's a beautiful thing to see that again we are able to win our Champions League game even away from home. But what is most significant to see or notice in this particular one is that Arsenal were able to win in a very convincing fashion. Sevilla snapped up a go back, but overall it was very brilliant display by Arsenal. But in that particular game, we have certain things to talk about, especially the fact that some players impressed and others, of course, have a lot of room to improve on. Of course, professionals as footballer, they will look back at that game. They will look back at that game and say, okay, this is where I need to improve and this is where I need to get better. So we'll start first with the goalkeeping position, De Vrij. De Vrij was excellent in the night. He made some nice saves and also made some little mistakes, of course, but the one that was most significantly very close to being a big blunder was the one whereby he punched the ball, but instead of punching it out, it punched over and went back to the Arsenal goal and just hit the bar, and you could just see there the reaction of Saliba and the likes and that were around there. Very scary moments for many people watching, even Arsenal fans too, from home, from wherever you are in the world. Everybody were like, hope is not going to be under draw. It was pretty frustrating against Chelsea because we expected to get more goals, but unfortunately for us, we weren't able to create enough chances, and of course that led to us being handicapped to a 2-2 draw at the Stamford Bridge, which of course many expected, and I guess many Chelsea fans too expected Arsenal to win that one. But it was close to a repeat again at Sevilla Stadium, whereby Arsenal were able to snatch a 2-1 win. But if Raya mistake had led to a equalizing goal, then of course we will be back at where we were again, and it will end all square. Now, moving on from David Raya, where about this man who has proven himself time without number this season to be a very good secret weapon for our manager Mikel Arteta this season. It's Takehiro Tomiyasu. He played on the left back row and he was able to play an inverted wing back row, whereby he was able to go into the middle sometimes, was able to drive forward sometimes to try and combine well with the likes of Gabriel Martinelli, and also help the likes of Declan Rice in occupying spaces that matters, and also press. So overall it was really brilliant, and of course he put up a solid defensive effort too that ensured that we were able to have a win on the day. Now moving on, our defensive pairing centre backs are of course always on top form, and that game was no different because they were able to play well, communicate well, no really serious scary moment. They were able to combine well to ensure that Arsenal were having a clean sheet, or except the fact that in the closing hours they were able to snap up a goal through an header. Sevilla were able to score a 1 goal and it ended 2-1. So what about Benjamin White? Benjamin White, of course, you can expect a very consistent player. He was brilliant on the night again, and he gave us a top performance again. Very brilliant of him. And also in the central midfield role, of course, our British record transfer Declan Rice was really excellent on the night again. He was able to play well, combine well, drive the ball forward. He is like the life in this team, in that midfield, like the engine. In the absence of Thomas Partey, and of course a player who's probably not finding his form very well at the moment in Martin Odegaard, Declan Rice has of course taken up that role to be the man that is like a driving force in our midfield, and of course a very key player in that central midfield. So he was playing an anchor role. Of course he was playing just started again, and he played well too until he was substituted again by Mikel Arteta. But overall it was also good, and he was able to have some nice game and interplays with the likes of Declan Rice and Martin Odegaard. But Martin Odegaard had a very quiet game, and that's to see of course that Arsenal were unable to create chances. It looks like the Sevilla were trying to play a Chelsea game again, trying to give us a low block and counter and stuff, but Arsenal were able to break down the defense eventually on the left wing with the pace of Martinelli and the quick thinking of Gabriel Jesus, which leads us to both of them. Gabriel Jesus on the striking role was excellent. He was able to score a goal, a brilliant goal that's in contention, I'm told, in contention for UEFA Champions League goal of the week, and also was able to give us an excellent performance on the night. Not good enough that he was able to get a slight injury probably. Let's hope it's not something serious, but we're going to talk about that later in this video. Don't go anywhere. I'm going to tell you what the latest we're hearing about Gabriel Jesus injury update, and he was able to give a very top game. He has always been a very consistent performer in the Champions League, even since his Manchester City days, and of course this night was no different at Sevilla. He was able to put up a brilliant display. He set up Martinelli with that brilliant turn away from Sergio Ramos, a world-class defender, and set up Martinelli, who was on the run already. And Martinelli, of course, you don't expect him to miss that goal because he was able to also put up a great display. He scored that marvelous goal that made us score the first goal even before the end of the first half. And Martinelli, of course, you expect him with his pace to run past the defenders, and of course he run the keeper over and was able to slot that in so easy. He made that look so easy. So Martinelli also was top in the night, and of course is what you can expect to see from Gabriel Martinelli. Alright, Bukayo Saka, just like Martin Odegaard, had a bit of a quiet game, but probably Saka had more influence in the game because he was able to do some nice combinations, trying to create some chances, also trying to move. But of course, several defense were not really giving him the easy time. But at the same time, was able to influence the game. Yes, his presence alone on that right wing is a big threat to the Sevilla defense, and of course, he was also part of the reason why we were able to win in that game. Overall, he had a good game, not one of his best, of course, because probably there's a lingering factor of an injury still not yet sorted out for Bukayo Saka, and I think Arteta just needs to manage this guy very well and give him the deserved rest he needs to get. And let's just hope he is better in our next game against Chelsea, and also we also wish Martin Odegaard also the same. So alright guys, that's my review of the players that played in that Sevilla vs Arsenal game, our Champions League encounter, which of course ended in Arsenal 2, Sevilla 1. It's briefest things you want to see. Alright, moving on, there was this man, everybody has been surprised so far. He didn't make the game against Chelsea, was on the bench, and against Sevilla also he did not feature because he is reported to have an injury, that a muscle injury in particular, that kept him out of that game. Of course, there's been a lot of talks and view on the social media about the fact that he was in his child gender review with his wife and he kicked something. So a funny question has been asked, that is it the reason why he had a muscle injury? But that's not true, because Mikel Arteta said he had an injury in the training, and that kept him away from our game against Sevilla. It kept him away from the pre-match preparation, and of course he didn't feature in that Sevilla game. Alright guys, it's a wrap for today, and I would love to see you in our next video. And you might want to follow your boy on socials, Instagram NellyJunior7, and you can also subscribe to our channel so that you don't get to miss any latest Arsenal news and top stories that are so exciting here. So please share also to your friends and fellow Arsenal fans so that nobody gets to miss these big top stories we share here on Arsenal Roundup. And don't forget to turn on post notification so that you also don't get to miss our top stories on this channel. Alright guys, I will see you in our next video. Until then, your boy is out.